The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience NFL Draft Recap, Fantasy Football Rankings. If you people out there in our fancy Boston podcast studio would like to get into a draw for 20 DK bucks, there are two ways to do that. One, smash the like button for the episode. Leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section. Tell me which pick in the first round from Thursday night you think will have the biggest impact for fantasy football in 2019. It could be Atlanta picking 2 O-linemen. I don't know. Maybe that's where you want to go with it. Maybe it's Kyler Murray. We'll find out. See what you have to say. It's one way to get in the draw. The other way to do it, rate, review, subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, wherever the audio podcast lives. Leave your DraftKings handle in the review, plus something nice about the show. Sometimes I like to read something nice about myself, so it's an easy way, and the winner will get 20 DK bucks, and the winners will be announced on Monday's golf show with Jeff Feinberg as we break down the Wells Fargo Championship from Quail Hollow. But enough of golf. We go on and talk about football, and I got someone good to talk about it. Adam Levitan's here.
It's beautiful. It's amazing to be out of my basement, away from my beast, and in an actual studio.
What do you make of this weird cylinder light?
It's all, I mean, you're used to this as a professional TV man. I am used to the exact opposite.
I am not used to sitting this close to someone. Anyways, let's cram into this room. This is like my old studio. Just like you're like this on top of everyone. I'm just shocked that we were able to get 2 camera angles where I'm not in yours and you're not in mine. Good framing of all this. My new table is so big. It's far too big.
Yeah. I mean, this is like professional legit though. I mean,
look
at these mics where we look like real broadcasters.
Robocams?
Yeah.
We can cut the entire production people right out of the process here once we figure out how to use them. And if we lived in Boston, that would be nice too. Let's talk first round and talk quarterbacks, I guess.
Yeah.
And the impact that these guys are going to have. Like Kyler Murray, does he even start week 1?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think they have this plan in place to start Kyler Murray week 1 and move on from Josh Rosen sometime today. We're recording this Friday morning. I think they have a plan in place to move on from Josh Rosen at some point today or tomorrow. And they'll start Kyler Murray in week 1. And I think immediately will have a huge fantasy impact. We could see him put up rushing stats that I think we haven't seen before in the NFL. I mean, this dude runs with the football like you haven't seen. He's going to operate almost exclusively from the shotgun. He's going to throw the ball out of the air raid. I think Christian Kirk is a player that he'll rely on a lot. And yeah, I mean, we've seen every time there's like a huge fantasy season, like Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, all these guys, there always comes with big rushing stats also, because you can only do so much with your arms. So Kyler Murray, to me, is going to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback for sure.
Is he better than Lamar, or would you draft him over Josh Allen?
Yes.
That has to be close though.
Yeah, I don't think Josh Allen's going to run at the same rate that he ran.
No, but he also doesn't need to. Even if he scaled back 50%,
I know.
he would still be good.
I know, it was so crazy last year. I know, and I like the pass catching core the Bills have also. I think it's probably slightly better than what the Cardinals have, just because I think
you hate Larry Fitzgerald.
Well, yeah, he's total dust. I mean, it's over for Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, he could be so you would draft Christian Kirk over Larry Fitzgerald this year? I mean, Fitz is going to go first.
I haven't seen ADPs. Yeah, I mean, I just would never take Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, last year he went in the 3rd round. I mean, I was laughing at he went in the 3rd round. The dude can barely move out there. He runs like 5 yards outs now. I mean, yeah. So it's over for Larry Fitz. But yeah, Christian Kirk, I think, is a baller.
So David Johnson?
Yeah.
Does Murray hurt Johnson if Murray's going to rush the ball so much? That's just take away from the bottom line of David Johnson?
A little bit, but I think the running lanes will be so much more wide open for David Johnson. You see when there's mobile quarterbacks are in here and they run this RPO stuff, you see all the linemen shift to the quarterback when he's a threat to run, and that just opens up so many more lanes. We've seen it time and time again, and I think David Johnson is in for a big bounce back here.
If we're doing that, though, even when Lamar took over in Baltimore last year, and I would expect this offense to look a little bit better than that.
Yep.
Because they might throw every now and then. Lamar Jackson's longest completed pass last year was 36 yards.
Yeah. I mean,
that's not good in the air, at least.
Yeah, so I don't think you can compare Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson throwing ability.
I was only really thinking of once Lamar Jackson took over in Baltimore, they stopped throwing to running backs. There was no dump off. So, even with Barkley, if nothing's working on the ground, he's going to get 12 catches for 30 yards and just save your week. If this is the case where Murray's not going to be dumping off the ball to David Johnson, he doesn't have the floor anymore, it seems.
I think he will, and I think in this Cliff Kingsbury scheme, it's going to look way different than what you saw in Baltimore. Way different. I mean, Kyler's just so much of a more talented thrower than Lamar Jackson, and yeah, I think you should be optimistic about the Cardinals' offense for sure.
Ricky Seals-Jones? Is it finally going to happen?
I've lost so much money on Ricky Seals-Jones.
Well, you can lose more now.
Every time he's 2,700, I'm like, all right, it can't hurt me that bad. Then he gets like a 0, and I'm just like, guys, this is awful.
I feel like he'll be the buzz guy, though. Like, I'm glad you mentioned that we're recording this on a Friday. We don't know what happened in the second round yet.
Right.
So there's probably going to be some running back drafted in the second or third round today.
Oh, yeah.
It's like he's going to be in a great spot. But we don't know who that's going to be.
Right.
And then people will be like, how dare you not even talk about that?
Yeah, I think Miles Sanders, David Montgomery, Justice Hill, there's a few running backs, and also all the wide receivers that didn't go in round 1, A.J. Brown and Hakeem Butler, all these guys are good and have chances to have impacts.
If we go to tight ends, just very quickly, so both the Iowa guys go, T.J. Hockenson and Noah Fant.
Yep.
Are we on the thing where, like, tight ends don't matter as rookies? Like,
Yeah.
is that the best way to play this? And if an outlier beats you, an outlier beats you?
I think so. I would be hard-pressed if I was in a season-long league to take either of these guys. I think we're going to be able to find 12 tight ends better than these two guys in better fantasy situations. I mean, Hockenson...
Let's look at tight ends for a second.
Oh, God. It's not pretty. I'll give you that.
It's Kelsey, Ertz, and Kittle.
Okay.
Those are, I would assume, the three. On Fantasy Pros, O.J. Howard, they have a part of tier, 1.
Love O.J. Howard.
If he's healthy, I think that he's there. Then it's like Hunter Henry, Evan Ingram.
Yeah. Really like Hunter Henry, but go ahead.
I like Ingram, too, though.
Yeah.
Like, unless Golden Tate's just going to be a guy who steals all of his targets.
Yeah, so, I mean, Evan Ingram saw, like, almost 20% of his targets from the slot last year. Obviously, Golden Tate operates out of the slot. Obviously, Sterling Shepard has done some of his best work out of the slot, so they have a lot to work out there. The good news is they drafted the 5th best quarterback in the class last night to take it home.
And rookie quarterbacks love their tight ends.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm more optimistic on Hunter Henry than Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram's a talented guy, though.
Then you got, like, Jared Cook in New Orleans, Njoku in Cleveland,
Yeah.
who's just market share is going to come back.
Yeah.
Delaney Walker's back in Tennessee. He must be like 40 years old.
Yeah.
Coming off, break his leg?
Yeah, it was ugly, yeah.
So I mean, he'll end up with like 60 catches for 600 yards somehow. Then it's like Herndon, Hooper, Burton, like Hockenson and Font probably fall into like this range, I would think, like the Delaney Walker. So they're around there.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about Hockenson is his best trait, I think, is blocking, right? So, and that's not to say he can't catch, because he can catch at a high level, but I think we're going to see him work in the inline a lot. He'll be lined up right next to the tackle a lot, and you don't see a ton of production from there. More production, especially as rookies. You know, we saw Evan Ingram line up in the F spot, the move tight end spot, and that's where Noah Fant will line up for the Broncos. He'll be detached. He won't be in the line blocking. When he's on the field, it'll be to catch the football, and Joe Flacco has shown an ability to throw to tight ends. So I would be more optimistic on Fant, but neither one gets me going too much.
Fant's actually quite interesting here. Like he could be with tight ends, it all comes down to touchdowns.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Yeah.
What do you make of Jared Cook? I hate Jared Cook. He's on my like never draft, never playlist.
Yeah.
But like this could not be a better situation for him.
Yeah, and I thought he played really well last year. I mean, he was awesome last year for the Raiders, and I know they
He was
didn't
their
have
wide
a lot.
receiver
Yeah,
one.
they didn't have a lot to go to, and they were trailing a ton, and I get all that. But yeah, he's always been an athletic guy, you know, and he just hasn't lived up to his potential. People overestimate the skill position players on the Saints. You know, they have Alvin Kamara, they have Michael Thomas. They do not have a lot behind those guys, so I think there's good opportunity for Jared Cook.
Feels like we're just going to get him in a great spot. No, I'm going to finally believe, like, this is the week.
Yeah.
And it's just zero. Because that's what he does. That's why I hate Jared Cook.
Yeah.
In the smash spots, it's just underwhelming at all times.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bosa, we don't want to talk about defense too much. That's kind of not fun.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of defensive players go. Jonah Williams to the Cincinnati Bengals. And they get their center back from last year, too.
Yeah.
It's going to be a sneaky, like, high-scoring offense.
I love the talent of the Bengals. I thought the Bengals were one of my sleeper teams to be really good, go to the AFC Championship game last year, win a lot of games. Andy Dalton
Did not work out.
And well, here, let me explain. I have an excuse. Andy Dalton, I thought was like the best late-round quarterback to take last year. And they started 4-1, and Andy Dalton was smashing. I mean, Andy Dalton, I think, had like, I don't know, 10 or 11 touchdowns in the first 4 or 5 weeks, and then decimation. You mentioned Billy Price getting hurt, which hurt. They lost another offensive lineman. They lost Tyler Eifert. John Ross was hurt. A.J. Green was hurt. Joe Mixon was banged up. They lost Gio Bernard, who was their best pass-catching back. So injuries have just buried them. I still think they have a ton of talent on this offense. Getting Jonah Williams, I think, can help this offensive line. And, yeah, I know people think Andy Dalton can't play. He can't elevate his teammates at all, but he can get guys the ball. And I've used Andy Dalton plenty in DFS in the right spots.
So, Mixon's being drafted like in the Delvin Cook, Nick Chubb, David Johnson, James Conner range. I think James Conner's probably the best of those guys.
Yeah.
I don't think Jalen Samuels is going to like eat into his workload. If that's the case, he's closer to the top end guys, I would think, than the bottom end guys. But Mixon, is Bernard really going to eat into what he does?
No, Mixon's a beast. I mean, Mixon is just, he's awesome. And from a talent perspective, I mean, Joe Mixon is way, way, way above James Conner. You know, James Conner ran like a 4.65. Like, he does not have the athetic profile of an elite fantasy back.
But he will play in the Steelers offense.
The Steelers scheme for running backs is elite. So, yeah, there's a conversation to be had there. I haven't thought it through fully, but my initial lean would be Mixon, but definitely close.
So he's in the mix of the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
Potentially higher.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, the guys above him, like Barkley, Elliott, McCaffrey, Kamara. What do you do with Gurley?
Yeah.
I can't draft Gurley, can I?
One of the most interesting storylines of the offseason is what happened to Todd Gurley's knee. I mean, we've heard rumors about stem cell going on there. We don't know if it's tendonitis. We don't know what's going on. Whatever it was, I mean, he got benched for C.J. Anderson in the playoffs, a guy they signed off the street. I mean, it was crazy. So I would have a lot of questions about Todd Gurley before I got too high on him.
So the Falcons take Chris Lindstrom at 14 at guard, and then they trade back into the first round at 31, take Kaleb McGary, a right tackle from Washington. Dick Cutter's the offensive coordinator now.
Yeah.
Help, hurt? Like, does this move the needle whatsoever? Is just like in like Matt Ryan always seems to struggle the first year with a new offensive coordinator, and now that's going to be the case. Like, should we be investing in at least Matt Ryan, invest in the running game maybe? No Coleman, maybe this is finally the year Devontae Freeman stays healthy for more than 2 games?
I think they're committed to using 2 backs. So I think we'll see the Judge, Ito Smith play. Yeah, I think we'll see him play some and maybe some 65-35, 70-30 kind of timeshare. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I know that these offensive tackles or whatever are awesome. But if they have first-round grades on them and they're very high on them, I can't see how it couldn't help their run game and their pass game. I mean, they were set at the skill positions. You know, I think I was low on Calvin Ridley's athletic profile, but he played reasonably well last year.
It's not as difficult to play really well when Julio's on the other side of the field.
And,
you get some opportunity.
And Matt Ryan's underrated, man. I think he's a really good quarterback, and Austin Hooper, I think, can play a little bit too. So yeah, they're going to be good on offense.
Would you go like Hooper or Noah Fant?
It would be Hooper for me right now. I'm not sure that Noah Fant's definitely going to play ahead of, like, you know, Jake Butt and whoever else. We'll see.
Maybe they'll just run one of those, like, it's like, we have Joe Flacco now. We can just play 3 tight ends at all times.
Yeah.
And, like, they weren't opposed to doing that anyway.
I mean, if they're going to use Noah Fant as a wide receiver strictly, then, yeah, he'd be above Austin Hooper.
Well, it was Deshaun Hamilton, Emmanuel Sanders.
Cortland Sutton.
Cortland.
Emmanuel Sanders probably won't be ready for the start of the season, but we'll see. Blew out his Achilles.
Who would you go between those two? Not between Hamilton and
I
Sutton.
prefer Deshaun Hamilton. I mean, Cortland Sutton's catch rate last year was just abysmal. Didn't look like he was ready. And Deshaun is a baller. Penn State guy, obviously.
Daniel Jones. How long till he starts? Does he start at all this year? Do they just bury him?
It's such a weird situation because the whole E-Hive in New York and the management.
How is that a thing, the E-Hive?
Yeah, when you won 2 Super Bowls, I mean, people, team QB wins can't get past that he won 2 Super Bowls. So
it was like a decade ago.
I know. He's been one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL for 5 or 6 years now, and Giants people in the organization, Giants fans can't realize it. I don't mind them taking quarterback. I just wouldn't have taken Daniel Jones. I would have taken Haskins for sure.
Or wait to 17 and take Daniel Jones.
If you wanted Daniel Jones, you 100% could have had him at 17.
And then if you don't get him, maybe you get Haskins at that spot. If the Redskins are like, you know who we like, Daniel Jones.
Right.
But like, even if he does, let's say he plays week 1, does it elevate any of the skill players on the Giants? Like, is he going to be substantially better than Eli is right now, like day 1?
So Daniel Jones barely ever threw the ball down the field at Duke. Like, ever. I mean, his stats were so putrid. They didn't have any receivers, so it's hard to evaluate. You know, they didn't have much talent at Duke. I don't know if you're aware, but Duke is not much of a football program.
Well, I heard it was a lacrosse school.
So yeah, he didn't have much to work with, so it's tough to say exactly. He's big. He's athletic. Dave Gettleman, like, he's what he thinks a quarterback is supposed to look like. You know what
he does look like a quarterback.
Right.
That is true.
He's like 6'5", he's somewhat athletic, he's got a big arm, et cetera, but I don't think that it's going to be a big upgrade on Eli right away.
So wherever you had, like, Shepard, Ingram, Tate, those guys, it's unchanged.
Yeah, and I would be surprised if they went away from Eli easily.
Week 9, week 10?
Yeah,
do we see, like, an Eli Kurt Warner
if
situation?
If they're, like 2-4, 2-5, you start to see it, yeah.
Watch them come out and be 8-0. and Eli's lighting it on fire.
Like, draft Twitter and fantasy Twitter would, like, explode.
I'm almost rooting for it.
Yeah.
It would just be fantastic.
Just get them and give the big F you to everybody.
Just everyone who makes the worst possible decision, just have it work out in their favor. What else do we got here? Dwayne Haskins to the Skins?
Yeah.
I don't know if he starts day 1. They just traded for Keenum.
It's way more likely that Haskins starts week 1 than
Jones.
Than Jones, I think. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know where. I mean, Dwayne Haskins to me was just such an awesome prospect. Comes as in a highly touted recruit. Didn't get to play because of all the quality quarterbacks Ohio State has had until last year, and then just throws 50 touchdowns in the Big Ten. I mean, and I know he had awesome receivers. We're going to see a lot of them go probably day 2 or day 3. But man, I mean, Dwayne Haskins can play, and I understand he's not mobile. You could compare him to Ben Roethlisberger or Byron Leftwich or something like that. But yeah, I think that Dwayne Haskins is going to be a player. I'm concerned about the skill position players that they have there. Jordan Reed clearly not himself.
No. Well, he is himself. He's just hurt, like always.
Yeah,
that's him.
And Josh Doxson, and who I liked a lot coming out.
Is Josh Doxson like legit terrible?
May never be a thing. May never be.
And they lose Crowder, so like.
They lose Crowder. Then Paul Richardson was playing through a torn labrum last year. Really bad shoulder. He'll be back. But yeah, they don't have a lot of talent there.
So day 2, day 3. I mean, why not just hook him up with another Ohio State guy?
They need a receiver, yeah. They need a receiver. Paris Campbell or McElwain or somebody like that, yeah.
What do you think happens in that backfield?
Yeah, I think they want Geis to be the guy.
But
I know
they re-signed Peterson.
I know.
And Chris Thompson will never not be a thing for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Geis, I think, yeah, it's hard to stay with Peterson. I have such this old man bias, so I'm probably the wrong guy to ask, but I would play Geis over Peterson.
I think I would too, but like if we were, let's live in a world where we draft fantasy football 5 months before the season starts, because people like to do that, apparently.
Yeah.
Where does Geis even fall in? Like, is Geis better than Devonta Freeman as a fantasy asset?
No, not for me.
Is he better than Kerryon Johnson?
No, Kerryon is a baller, dude.
Is he better than Lamar Miller?
Now we're getting there, yeah.
So that's like running back 27, 28, that kind of thing. Like, would you take Tevin Coleman in San Francisco? Because I don't know how that works out.
Yeah, that's a great backfield to watch, too. I mean, they have 4 guys who I think can play there with McKinnon, and we'll see how healthy McKinnon is and Matt Breida. So yeah, we'll see, man.
All right, so we talked about Fant. The Eagles pick up an offensive lineman. The Texans pick up an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Is the Texans' offensive line that bad, or is Deshaun Watson just prone to taking a lot of sacks?
Yeah, I think Deshaun Watson holds on to the ball a lot, and I think he started to get a lot of pressure last year, and then he was just like, oh my God, I'm under pressure, and he like puts his head down, and he starts running around like crazy, and he takes more sacks. So, yeah, I think it's a combination of the things, but yeah, Texans getting an offensive lineman was one of the biggest needs. Same with the Vikings getting an offensive lineman. I mean, 2 of the biggest needs in the first round for sure.
After talking to you all last night, I can't believe you're so high on the Vikings.
Really?
Yeah, it seems like a tough division. Because the Lions aren't terrible.
No.
And they're by far the worst team. Like,
Yeah.
you expect the Packers to get better. Maybe Chicago comes back to the pack a little bit with a tougher schedule. But they're still good.
Yeah, I think just from a talent perspective, the Vikings have ballers all over the field. Got Anthony Barr back. They still have Xavier Rhodes. I mean, just all over the field, they have awesome players, except that offensive line, which
or quarterback
they can continue to address. Yeah, I like Kirk Cousins, but I understand he's struggled in some big spots, to say the least.
Marquise Brown, Hollywood.
Yeah.
To the Ravens.
I know.
Not great.
Not great.
Does this become a situation where like people just completely write him off? Like he's not going to do anything fantasy wise.
Yeah.
But I would think that the Baltimore offense looks a little bit different this year.
So I think a better real life asset for the Ravens than fantasy asset, just because like Deshaun Jackson has improved every quarterback he's played with, Marquise Brown is going to improve every quarterback he plays with just by threatening the top of the defense. I mean, it just makes such a big difference. Lamar Jackson will have to attempt to get it to him. So. I think, with the lack of targets they have there, you could easily project Marquise Brown for 5 to 6 deep shots per game, and that's worth a lot. It's going to be really variant in his range of outcomes. You're going to get a lot of 1s and 2s and 4s, and then you might pop off for a 31 week.
So he's more of a don't draft him in season long, play him on DraftKings.
Yeah.
And he'll be 3,200 every week.
And I'm not going to sit here and say that Lamar Jackson can't take a step forward. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. He could definitely take a big step forward in his passing ability.
I guess if you draft him in the first round, maybe you're looking at a lot of like bubble square, like get the ball in his hands kind of thing. That maybe he ends up with like 12 touches a game.
Yeah. He's going to get a lot of Tyreek Hill comps if you watch his highlights where he looks faster than everybody else on the field. It's so rare in the NFL for you be able to just watch with your own human eyes and see an NFL player just be that much faster than everybody else, and you're going to see that with Hollywood.
All right, so I guess the 2 biggest ones to talk about. Josh Jacobs to the Raiders.
Yeah.
He's the starter, I assume.
Yeah.
And with Gruden, they're probably, unless they start doing like, hey, Jalen Richard needs his 12 touches a game. But it seems like Jacobs is just going to be 20 touches a game, lock him in.
And they have Isaiah Crowell, too. They have DeAndre Washington as well. They have Jalen Richard, who you mentioned, but you don't take, unless you're a total donkey, which they may be.
Pete Carroll just did it last year.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. It's a great point. I think Josh Jacobs has a better outlook from a NFL prospect perspective than Rashad Penny did. But yeah, I mean, Josh Jacobs, I expect them to ride him pretty hard. And one of his best assets is in the pass game, which I always like to see on DraftKings. I mean, it's so hard for me to play guys who can't catch the ball on DraftKings just because score goes sideways. You end up with like total dust because he comes off the field for Jalen Richard. So Josh Jacobs can catch the football. I didn't think he was worth a first-round pick whatsoever.
But it's the Raiders.
But the Raiders.
It's the Raiders.
Thought that he did. And
Well, they got all these picks. You got to use them.
you
Use them on running backs.
You have to use them on a defensive end who everybody else had. It's like a second-round pick. You got to use it.
So if we throw him into the mix here,
Yeah.
is he around that like Chris Carson, better than Chris Carson?
Yes. I don't trust the Seahawks to have the role that Josh Jacobs will have.
Better or worse than Derrick Henry, knowing that Deion Lewis is still going to play a role. He is.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's run last year was just absurd. I mean, that was crazy.
I'm
he was
shocked.
scoring like 40 DraftKings points a game.
I'm shocked people don't have him ranked higher.
Yeah.
Just because of that run. But he's not going to do that every game.
I know.
And there's going to be games where he gets 5 touches and Deion Lewis gets 17. And you're never really going to know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, and the Titans' offense is not very formidable, and they wasted a first-round pick, I believe, on a guy that
Jeffrey Simmons isn't going to play.
He's going to be hurt all year. Yeah, so they think their roster's maybe set when maybe it isn't. Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't thought too hard about Derrick Henry's outlook. He would seem to be someone to me that would be overdrafted, but I think the Raiders' offense is actually going to be better than people realize when you upgrade the wide core like that with Tyrell. And Antonio Brown. You also add Trent Brown in free agency, the left tackle.
You get a running back.
You get a running back. I think Derek Carr, similar to Andy Dalton, like if you give Derek Carr the right pieces, he can actually be productive from a fantasy perspective.
So would you go I was talking to Davis, and Davis was all about Damian Williams being a top 5 running back.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
I just feel like they draft someone eventually.
And losing Tyreek hurts the Chiefs. So yeah, I mean.
So would it be like, is Jacobs in that range with like Marlon Mack, Jones, Damian Williams, Phillip Lindsay?
I would take Damian Williams above all those guys that you mentioned. But yeah, I think you can put Josh Jacobs in there with the Phillip Lindsays and Marlon Macks of the world.
Fournette or Jacobs? Because Fournette doesn't really catch.
I think Fournette can, and you started to use him that way last year. And
then they didn't.
Then he just pissed the team off. Like, didn't show up for games. Like, sat and sulked, got suspended. Leonard Fournette was just a total mess last year. Maybe he gets his head back on straight. But yeah, I think the offensive environment for the Chiefs, even without Tyreek, would be so much better than it would for any of these other options.
You have no like Carlos Hyde bad vibes, like one bad game from Damian Williams, who suffered like 20 concussions in his career too.
Yeah.
So I used to play him whenever like starting running back for Dolphins would get hurt.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Damian Williams was in the game and he'd catch like 8 passes
Yeah,
for 32 yards. Then
Yeah.
he'd get a concussion.
Right. I think Carlos Hyde's an underrated player in the league. He's on his 3rd team in like 6 months, which is a scary thing.
Like, is it worth if he ends up like going to like 12th round, 13th round? Like,
Yeah.
do you draft handcuffs?
Not in season long, no.
Because it worked out last year.
Yeah.
And everyone will look at that, and maybe these handcuffs just go way too high now.
Yeah. I think you need to, from a season-long perspective, you need to build a team through guys who can just like be totally elite from every position. So drafting guys who are most likely to be backups for like the first 6 weeks is just a total dead spot.
Last one, Patriots.
Yes.
They draft a receiver,
Yes.
N'Keal Harry. He's big.
Oh, yeah.
That works out well.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Josh Gordon comes back this year? I don't know. If he does, then he's going to be on the Patriots. We found that out.
Yep.
Demarius Thomas, Julian Edelman. They have
Yeah.
Austin Safarian Jenkins now.
Yeah.
You got the all booze bag team.
Demarius Thomas is dust. Let's put that out there right now. It's over for Demarius Thomas. Blew out his Achilles last year in December. He's 33 years old. Already before he blew out that Achilles, I thought he was already like on his last legs. So I would not be worried about Demarius Thomas at all. Josh Gordon, I'd be surprised if he got back in the league. I mean, how many times can we do this yo-yo with Josh Gordon back and forth? But you saw Tom Brady last year. He never played before with Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon comes in off the street immediately, 7 targets per game. And I think that speaks to what N'Keal Harry is going to be able to do. People are saying, oh, he can't learn the Patriots system, you know. I think N'Keal Harry will be just fine, and I think 7 targets per game from Tom Brady for N'Keal Harry would be really profitable. I mean, N'Keal Harry had an amazing athletic profile, insanely productive at a young age at Arizona State.
There were points last year where like Philip Dorsett was somewhat viable.
And they had no one. I mean, they let Chris Hogan go. Philip Dorsett couldn't beat out Chris Hogan, then they let Chris Hogan go. So, yeah, I couldn't imagine a better landing spot for N'Keal Harry, and I also think that N'Keal Harry, regardless of landing spot, was an awesome prospect, so it's pretty perfect.
Like, can you envision any other receiver being taken that gets into a better spot than this? For year one fantasy
Right.
production.
I'm trying to think who is in desperate. I actually have an article on DK Playbook, shameless promotion about best landing spots.
That's not shameless.
and I can't think of it right now. But yeah, there's a lot of other talented wide receivers, but they won't be playing with Tom Brady. Is the bottom line.
I guess the Niners could get someone.
Yeah.
The Niners got someone that could be a better spot.
Dante Pettis and Marquise Goodwin currently projected as the starters.
I like Pettis,
Oh yeah.
by the way.
Oh yeah. And they traded up to get him last year. They like him a lot too.
Who was the other guy that they had? Kendrick Bourne.
Kendrick Bourne, the Bourne identity.
Yeah, he was. Like, he showed up from time to time, but
I definitely played him at like 3,600 or something.
that just feels like it's Kittle.
Yeah.
It's going to be Pettis, and I guess they do draft one of these like top 5 guys in
Yeah.
the second round or the third round. They're looking a lot better. Tennessee's a spot.
Yeah.
Like you put someone opposite Corey Davis, like that could have fantasy value.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if the Bills draft anyone. If it
Oh, the
matters.
Packers is one that I think is interesting. If
If they do it.
if you get a I don't know, a Hakeem Butler or an AJ Brown in Green Bay with all this attention being paid to Devontae Adams and also having Aaron Rodgers, that would be a pretty home run pick.
Apparently the Eagles are trying to trade Nelson Aguilar
Yeah.
too. Is Nelson Aguilar actually any good? Or is he just good with Carson Wentz?
Yeah. There was a lot going on with Nelson Aguilar. There was rumors in Philly. You guys might not know. I'm from Philly. That Nelson Aguilar was like having off-field issues with like I don't even want to say what is going on because I don't know if it's true, but seemed to get his head on straight a bit more last year, particularly when he played out of the slots. So I'm not surprised they're trying to trade him, but I think only if they draft a wide receiver.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about draft-wise?
Um,
Is Barkley the number 1 pick?
Saquon?
Yeah.
I hate to take a giant number one.
Like,
but
would you take Zeke instead?
I think that you could be safer with Zeke. Full PPR, probably Barkley. Although the way the Cowboys used Zeke last year in the passing game was awesome too. So.
It was basically like the same thing.
Yeah, it was
but like,
awesome.
can you just lean on McCaffrey, knowing he's going to get 100 catches?
Yeah, you can. It's an exciting time to be a running back in the NFL, actually.
And like with Kamara, with Ingram gone, that awful Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
But like, does he get an 80? Like, do we see the Kamara from like the first 3 weeks last year without Ingram there, or do they say, you know what, we're not doing that?
They said last year when Ingram got suspended, they didn't want to do that.
Then
And
they
then
did
they gave
it.
him like 30 catches a game. He was like 8,700 on DraftKings, getting like 30 touches. It was pretty sweet. Yeah, they're going to say all summer that they don't want to overwork Alvin Kamara. It's harder, I think, for them when they get in the game and it's close and they want to win. And their other options are they brought in Latavius Murray, that I think they're going to say.
I actually kind of like Latavius Murray.
Yeah, he
Like,
just doesn't give you the same.
No, he doesn't.
juice.
He doesn't do the
Yeah.
same thing, but like he's there to take away from the bottom line of Kamara.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I don't think 30 touches like he was getting before. I think they'll give Latavius. They'll mix in Latavius for 8 to 12.
Bills offense. I wrote up Smokey Brown
Mm-hmm.
as a just. I mean, he's going to be undrafted in fantasy leagues
Yeah.
basically. I think he's going to be the wide receiver 1, and he just runs go routes.
Are you not familiar with Foster, Australian for sex?
Robert Foster.
Yeah.
Why sign John Brown if you're going to sign like the same guy?
Robert Foster's a baller, man. Yeah, and I think John Brown's a great player too. Has struggled to stay healthy. Obviously, has the sickle cell trait, which has cost him a bunch of time in the NFL. They have a good offense, man, and everybody wants to bang on Josh Allen. He's perfect for fantasy. He plays like it's total street ball. He drops back. He either wants to throw long or run for his life. It's perfect. Like he had the highest ADOT in the league last year. Average depth of target in the league. I mean, dude is just perfect for fantasy. So I love Josh Allen. I love Foster. I think John Brown would be a great pick too. So I'm high on this Bills offense.
Can we get LaShawn McCoy going, or is he just finished?
I'd be surprised if they could get the running game going.
Because they're going to try. They're going to run the ball like 25 times a game without Josh Allen.
Yeah.
They'll have one of the biggest like run-pass
Right.
differentials of any team.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess LaShawn still has some juice. I mean, they brought in Frank Gore, which...
He might have more juice left than LaShawn. Like, Shady was bad last year. Like, really, he was getting 25 touches a game for 60 yards and no touchdowns.
I know. And they also brought in TJ Yeldon, which I think could be somewhat of a threat on pass downs to LaShawn McCoy. So maybe they see the writing on the wall for LaShawn.
Who's left in Jacksonville then? Fournette, Corey Grant.
Yeah.
Did they sign anyone else? Can't remember.
I can't remember either. I don't think so, though.
Maybe they're going to be in the market for another running back.
Yeah. Only one running back went. There's going to be like 15 running backs going the rest of this draft. And the guys in like the 4th or 5th round could end up being good.
In Miami, if they don't take a running back, is Drake finally the guy?
Kendrick's a talented guy.
But they don't like him.
And he's been
Maybe the new regime likes
regime, yeah. And yeah, I think you'll see a lot of changes there with Gase gone. And maybe one of them should be featuring. The thing about Frank Gore is like, when you're like this old football guy coach, probably an idiot, you're like, Frank Gore doesn't fumble. He runs the right play every time. He's a great leader in the locker room, and like these coaches, they can't stop giving the ball to Frank Gore. I think maybe a more forward-thinking coach would feature Kenyon Drake, and we'll see if the new Dolphins regime is that.
All right. Adam Levitan, Daily Fantasy Edge. Subscribe to it. Do you have any, like, in the bank recorded?
No.
I'm
not like you. No.
You can't just go away for 3 weeks and just have podcasts come out?
No. I am going to wait for this draft to be over. I am going to then fully digest everything into my system. And
We want the information
then we'll get
now.
Who are we picking today in 5 months?
I got 18 best ball drafts tonight. I need to know.
No, I actually have some really sharp people in the scouting community lined up who I think will be good to talk about these prospects from a fantasy perspective. So yeah, we'll roll those out over the next few weeks once we see exactly where all these guys land. So
if you want to get real insight with real scouts and people who break this stuff down, subscribe to the Daily Fantasy Edge. You can find it, iTunes. You can find it on the DraftKings YouTube page. All that fun stuff. If you want like bad analysts who just make horrible decisions, you should subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience. And hey, you can get into a draw for $20 if you rate, review, and subscribe it. Leave your DraftKings handle and something nice about the show, like, hey, your guests are bad. That makes me feel good, because it makes me feel like I'm better than my guests. Not so much today, more so when I have like Jeff and Tim on. Then you can say that sort of stuff. Also, if you smash the like button, leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section for the video, and let me know who you think the biggest impact player drafted in the first round on offense is going to be for fantasy football drafts in 2019. That'll do it. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Experience! Experience!